Hello, and welcome to your Getting Started tutorial video. This video is meant to give you a basic overview of how to create an app book using MoglueBuilder. By the end of this video, you should have enough information to get started creating a simple book. What you want to do first is run the builder. When you do, this is the screen that should appear. Here, you're meant to type in your account information. If you have not yet downloaded the builder, or if you don't have an account, we recommend that you refer to our Before You Begin video to find out detailed information of how to do this. Also, you can click on this link right here for creating an account. If you already have an account and you're right here with me, then you can type in your information. Once you do, you can click on the login button and then you'll be left with this screen. To start off with your book, you want to first create a new book. So what you can do is go to this icon right here on the top left-hand side of the screen, or you can also go to File, New. When you do, you'll get a window called Book Information, and you need to fill out some information there. The information is pretty straightforward, so there's no need to worry, but I will do it with you just in case. Also, if you're not ready to fill out the information just yet, you can always go back and do it later. So beginning with the size, if you know what type of screen you're going to be working with, you can go ahead and choose a size. If not, you can always choose custom. Then we have orientation, either portrait or landscape. I'll leave it landscape for now. Also keep in mind that if you're using the custom size, you can only use these dimensions, so landscape and portrait won't change. With all the other ones, you will be able to choose landscape or portrait. So now the book name. I'm going to title this Getting Started, an author, a description of the book, and you can add a thumbnail. I'm not going to do it right now, but you can easily do so by just clicking on the plus button and searching for your files. Now, last, you have to select a view type. This is how your book will be viewed when you use a different sized screen than what you customize the book for. So if you choose fill, the width and height will remain the same, but depending on the device you're using, the upper and lower sides or the sides left and right of the screen might be cut off. If you use fit, the height and width will remain the same, but you might get a black letterbox around the whole thing. And if you use stretch, the dimensions of the book will change. Both height and width will be bigger and the resolution will also change. So once you decide what you want, you can click on save and you're ready to begin. So here you'll be left with your canvas, and if you can't see it all, like I can't right now, you can go to view fit and then you'll see the entire thing. This is because I'm working with a smaller monitor right now, so if you're working with a larger monitor and you do see the whole canvas, you can feel free to skip this step. So after this, what you want to do is begin by importing the files you're going to be using for your project. If you don't have any files to use yet, you can always go to our site, moglue.com, and download files we have there. We have free images and sounds for you to use in your books. Those will be found in the manual part of the site. So if you go here to the import icon, or you go to File, Import, you can select the files you want to use. So let's say I already have a folder set up with the images, so I can just select them all and click open. I'm gonna repeat the same process, use this icon to import my sound files. So I click, I select my folder where I have them stored, sounds, and select the files I want to use and click open. The process of importing your files into the builder is pretty quick. It depends on your file size and the amount of files, but it's usually under a minute. Also, I did two processes of importing because I had my files saved in two folders, but if you have all your files in one place, you can just go ahead and import them all at once, and the builder will automatically sort them out for you depending on the file type. So you'll get your images in one tab, sounds, videos, and animations in another tab. So now that you've done this, you're ready to start creating some magic with Moglue. So if, let's say, this is an image I want to use, you can just drag and drop it onto the canvas. It's as easy as that. Since this is the image I want to use as a background, I'm going to center it by clicking on this icon right here. If you're ever unsure of what an icon does, you can just leave your cursor over it and it will tell you. So now that I centered it, I want to lock it, so I can click on this lock button right there, or you can also side click and select lock. Why am I locking this? I'm locking it because it's my background image and I want to prevent it from moving later on by mistake. So I'm going to add a couple more images so you can see how the process is done, but it's all the same. You basically select and you drag and drop onto the canvas. So there we go, drag and drop, select, drag and drop, and select, drag and drop. Once your images are in the canvas, you can always move them around, or you can change their size, either make them bigger or smaller, or you can also rotate them. So I'm going to make this guy smaller. There we go. So now you know how to add images. It's always the same process. If you want to add text, it's also really simple. All you need to do is side click on your mouse and select the text option. When you do that, this is what will automatically appear. If you want to change that text, you can double click and then type in your own text, or you can change the size, the font, etc. Okay, so we've been through how to add images and text, so now you want to learn how to add actions. The process is pretty much the same. All you need to do is drag and drop. So here is our action library on the left. If you browse around, you can see all the different types of actions we offer. And once you select one, let's say I select jump, you can drag and drop it straight to the blue box next to your images. In a later video that's more advanced, we'll learn what the red state box means, but for now, let's only use the blue ones. These are called state boxes. So once I drag and drop my jump action, you can go to the right to the property editor, and depending on the actions, you can play around with certain properties. Like for example, the jump action has a repeat option, so you can choose how many times you want it to repeat. Let's say I want my action to repeat 10 times, and you can also change the duration. Most importantly here is play when. Play when is what is going to be triggering your action. So I want my action to play, let's say, when loading. So when this page loads, this bird is going to start to jump 10 times. Now let me add another action to the second image right here. Let's say I want that image to float. So I select the float, I drag and drop it, and I place it in the blue state box. This float action, when I tilt my screen around, will make the pig move around as if it were floating, kind of mimicking gravity. So what I can do here is select play when, what's going to trigger this. So let's say once I touch it down, touch down is the default trigger. When I touch it down, the float action is gonna start. So let's say if the pig is here, when I touch it down, it's gonna fall down like gravity, and when I move my screen, it'll be floating around. And now that we added a couple of actions, we can do the same for sounds. You go to your sound tab, you select the sound file you want to use, and you can drag and drop it onto the state box next to your image. So same goes for sounds. You can also choose the trigger. So let's say I want to trigger this sound, let's say by shaking. So when I shake my screen, the sound is going to play. Okay, so now that you've learned this, you might want to know how to add new pages. So that is fairly simple too. This right here is called the page navigation bar. So what you need to do is click on the plus sign and you'll get new pages. You can click on it as many times as you want, and it's also easy to navigate between pages. You just click where you want to be. So now that you have learned how to add images, how to add actions, how to add text, and how to add sound, you might be wondering, how do I see if this is working? So what you want to do is preview what you're doing. So to do this, we have two ways of previewing your work. First of all, you can preview directly on your desktop by using our web viewer. This is what we're going to learn how to do right now. And the second way of previewing is by using your tablet or phone to preview directly using Moglue Viewer. So right now we'll learn the web viewer, and what you need to do first of all is make sure you have Chrome browser installed. If you don't have Chrome browser, you won't be able to preview using web. So we recommend that you go to www.chrome.com and download and install the browser. Once you do, the previewing is really simple. All you need to do is use these two icons. This is to preview the entire book, and this is to preview only the current page. Also, you can always go to File, Web Preview, or Web Preview Current Page. So I'm going to go to Web Preview Current Page right now so I can see how this is working. I click on it and it will automatically relaunch my Chrome browser. So this means that if I was working on something before, I should save it because it will relaunch it and you might lose information if you don't save it. So once we do this, we wait for it to load. Shouldn't take long. There we go. And you'll get your viewer right here. This button right here on your right, if you move it around, it will mimic how the movement of a screen. When we loaded, this guy started to jump. That's because the trigger was when loading. The shake trigger is right here. So if I click shake, I'm going to hear a sound. That's because we set the sound to go off when we triggered it with shake. The last thing we used was float. So if I touch down, now the float action has triggered. So if I move around my screen this way, you can see how my image is going to float around, kind of imitating gravity in real life. So we can move it around. There we go. If I shake again, the sound can be heard. If I click on this, oh no, that was when loading, so that won't happen again unless we come back to this page. So that's pretty much it. That's how you preview, and we basically learned all the things you need to get started. We hope the tutorial video was helpful, and if you have any further questions, feel free to check out our web manual or our other tutorial videos. Thank you so much for listening.